mean, that's what happened coming into the game number 1, right? Xby did not really have that opening wherein he was consistently going for those kills. In the early game, he was non-existent during the laning phase onto those kills. So I think that is what Thunder Talk is going for, that we really want those objectives. And Xby with the Kha'Zix is playing it very well.
Yeah, and again, this is... oh no. This is gonna be bad. So with what we've seen here... oh man, this is gonna be bad here for Zeri. Zeri is going to be picked up for their side. From what we're seeing here for Thunder Talk Gaming, they are going with the same composition, just except for that Renekton and even that Aatrox that has been exchanged on both sides. And the Ezreal being banned, there's not really a lot of safe options here for their side. But from what we're seeing here, Nova, this is going to be bad. Just because of those nerfs when it comes to the monster damage, there's not really a lot of options here for long anymore. So... for now, they're going to be going to a Nautilus, and they would think if ever this would work for this next game. Gwen, Z's favorite champion in the mid lane whenever he's fighting against a Vladimir.
Yeah, and right now, when it comes to this aspect, it's a scary draft for Nova, right? They have a lot of tools for engage. They have Hecarim, they have the likes of Vladimir, they have Zeri to be able to scale, and that is something that we could look at later on. But what is very amazing onto the flip side for Thunder Talk is they have Sivir and Aatrox. They also have a lot of engage tools to be able to utilize that movement speed on the hunt, on the ultimate of Sivir, that could really be on par when it comes to that mobility that Nova has on Hecarim.
Yeah, and from what we're seeing here, I really love the way that everybody's making this work. With the composition that we've seen, I think there's a lot more iterations of this compositions that I kind of like whenever you have a Vladimir, for example, in the mid lane. There's a lot of iterations that you could use compared to how it was in Season 1. There's only one composition, or at least 1 or 2 compositions that works well. But here in Season 2, there's a lot more that you can go for, which I really like, which would happen from the recent patches that we had. But again, tomorrow is going to be patch 5.0, but we're going to see that in the finals, not this week.
And this is definitely going to be exciting. I'm accelerated. Thunder Talk versus Nova. The thing is, the expectations was that Thunder Talk, yes, is the favorites coming into this matchup, is the favorites coming into the series, but with their performance up against KBG, the thing was, it's looking a little bit rocky. But the performance coming from that game 1 was a hell of a performance to really go for here for Thunder Talk as a start.
Yeah, and what you want for a team like Thunder Talk, from what we've seen from the past few games, is they would really want to find a way to get advantages in the early game now compared to before. Because from what we're seeing here for the composition of Nova, they have a lot more leverage during the late game compared to what the Thunder Talks has. Because remember, it's a Sivir together with a Vladimir on their composition, almost the same, or rather a Zeri together with a Vladimir in their composition. So it's way easier to maneuver this composition come the late game. So what Thunder Talk wants to do is to just get as much as they can in the early game, and maybe even just brute force this mid game to their side.
Yeah, especially considering that late game will not exactly be the strongest suit for Thunder Talk. Just given how Nova has the Vladimir, also has the Zeri, you also have the Hecarim that you have to always consistently keep in mind, especially coming into mid-game, late-game, wherein he already has access to the likes of Onslaught of Shadows, he has access already to a lot of these mobility skills for the jungler of Nova for long. So that's something that Thunder Talk has to keep in mind.
Yep. What's the difference here for the past game is because they have a lot more options for that first objective compared to what happened a while ago. Because from what we've seen the game a while ago, Vi was just able to go for the other side of the jungle, go for some invades, get some resources, just decelerate Xby. But now they can't really do that because Vi is one of those big bully champions that you could have in the early game. And Hecarim, because of the recent nerfs that he had, he won't have that same domination compared to before, but he's still one of the best junglers, or at least one of the decent junglers that we have here in this patch. But again, going to the mid lane, they're going to go for the Onslaught of Shadows, push him back, and he has nowhere to go. Just a good thing he has to miss. That's why Z was able to survive.
Yeah, and Yami's in danger. Xby.
Yeah, top side, Kitze is going to be next, jumps around and gets to taste their fear.
Amazing fear that was sent out by XBY on top side of the map, and with just that one kill, it's now a priority for Thunder Talk on top side of the map. Chen C
gets a knock up. Sanguine Peel was used. Oh, that could have been it. If that was able to hit, it's a good thing Neon was able to flash away, because that could have hurt that needlework.
That was too close for comfort. And right now, they have to go in for the reset. It was just phenomenal to be able to watch that. And going on top side, that is very straightforward. XBY went invisible, used up the flash to come through. Very straightforward as a kill.
Ooh, it's a good thing the timing of that flash. If he flashed a bit earlier, that could have been a save for himself, but because it was a bit too late, wasn't able to get it. But again, for this side, for Nova Esports, what they want to do with this advantage that they got on top side, I think it's still a Renekton. So Renekton is still a bit decent in this battles. He has at least one room for error on that first blood that happened in the top side. So at least now, it's still okay for that Renekton to be staying top side.
Yeah, and the thing about Aatrox, the very much direct counter to this champion is mobility. Just going for sidesteps, just missing out those knockups. XBY.
Yeah, XBY's still gonna go top side. It's gonna be a very sneaky Void Assault. It's gonna be used again. It's a good thing he has another slice and dice. That's the reason why he was able to go. That is gonna be fear on Yitza's eyes just because of those ganks that happened.
Yeah,
but, oh, it's a good thing he was able to flash away, or at least dash away. That's why he was able to survive there.
Yeah, he was able to read Yami's eyes. The bloodlust coming in from his veins onto the bot side of the map was something really pressurizing onto the bot side of the map there. But thus far, as you have mentioned, this is going to be such a an aggressive playstyle that Thunder Talk really wants to go for, especially how he wants his top-sided map, his Aatrox, to really have that priority up against Renekton.
Yeah.
Given that later on, if Aatrox is fed, there's no one that can stop this.
Yeah, the Aatrox is one of those champions that when he gets a very massive snowball, you can see the damage just come through, and it is gonna be hurting. And that's why whenever you get like 3 items on this guy, it's gonna be very scary. And now, accelerating it is just helping out the cause here for Thunder Talk Gaming.
And not just even the damage that will come to life. Literally, Aatrox will never go down and die on a fight.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's very scary to look at. And now Thunder Talk, with how they want to win the early game, with how they want to snowball, they want to go for that Rift Herald.
Yeah. Want to get this early game, get the Rift Herald, get the early snowball that they want to go for. Now, they are starting it. The Rift Herald has been taken down now. And Nova is already starting to fight. 2 knockups onto the side of Nova, and they want to take down this mid lane turret as fast as they could. And nobody could stop them, or should I say, nobody could stop Shelly from doing that.
Yeah. Shelly is pretty much the early game MVP, as we may call it. For those of you that are new, Shelly is pretty much Rift Herald. It's a... Yep. I believe it's a league term, right? It's a league thing that they did.
Yeah. That's why she's named Shelly now. And now for everybody, for that, gaining advantage from a Rift Herald, or at least gaining a bit of a gold advantage, is such a big edge, especially in a game where resources are always being taken left and right. That's why it's so good in the early game. But again, Nova Esports is not going to have that for themselves, but what I like about this is that Nova would just want to stay safe, just want to play it safe here on the side lanes.
Yeah, they don't have to force it. Right, they just need for Zeri, they just need to wait for Neon to be able to gain those items, and even Long as well. And this is one of the characteristics of Non that I truly love when it comes to the regular stages, is that they just go in full on farming game for Long for what? First 15 minutes of the game, wherein Long was able to farm, wherein Long was able to stack up when it comes to XPs, and then right after, that is where he just jumps through and dominate the Rift. And that is something that Nova could do on the brink of defeat, where Nova could rise back.
Oh, needlework! I thought that could have been it. Remake could have died there. It's a good thing that was not the last stack of that needlework, and was not able to execute him in the end there. Now, from what we're seeing, Thunder Talk is just making use of this early game advantage, just pushing or punishing the Zeri whenever possible. And because of what we said a while ago, Infinity, whenever you take down the mid lane turret, that gives more options for your jungler to move around and go for invades.
Yeah, it's a natural advantage for pretty much the whole Baron and the whole Drake objective onto the sides, and also the control over the left quadrant and bottom quadrant jungle.
Goes in for the push. At the call of the Forge God, it's gonna be the target. It's a good thing he got the knock up there. Could have been a kill on their side. That Sanguine Pool was a saver, and that knockup from Yami was able to save Neon.
Yeah, so much invested coming from Neon as well. He has to use the flash to go into the Honey Fruit. You also have the Sanguine Pool. It's just too much invested, and right now Thundertalk is on a position, if ever Nova goes for the overextension, they understand that Neon doesn't have the flash.
Yeah, look at how slow the game is going, and slowly the resources are creeping up to the hands of Thundertalk, and this is what they want. They need to get as much resources as they can and choke out the resources from the hands of Nova, and that is their game plan. As much as they can, they need to get this goal lead or into 3k or like to 5k. 3k to 5k is a good start for Thundertalk Gaming, but Nova, what they can do is just to let them do what they want here on the side of Thundertalk Gaming for now, because once they get to the 10-minute mark and they get the second item that they need, that could be a good spot to fight in the second objective.
Yeah, and in this stage, in this case, Yitze thus far has no damage onto the Aatrox already. When you saw that little bit of engage coming into the top side of the map wherein Aatrox was going in for the minions, Yitze was trying to hit on Aatrox and there was absolutely no damage. And this is at that stage wherein Thundertalk really wants Aatrox to excel, wherein Sin could just be left alone and he will just bring fear to the eyes of their opponents.
Yeah, whenever he gives C this Gwen, he really knows how to play his advantages whenever he's using it, especially in the mid lane. Really surprised how effective he becomes whenever he's using the Gwen. And that's why this is one of his very big pocket champions that he used. But again, looking at the fight right in the top side, this is not gonna end. This fight is just gonna happen. One's gonna be healing, the other's still gonna be healing. But Yitze, you can see the disadvantage right there in this battle.
It's a one whole level advantage for Sin. That's the scary part. It's a level 10 Renekton up against a level 11 Aatrox.
Yeah, that's why he's just winning, brute forcing his way out of these minions that we have. And even if they don't have vision on this side of the map, he's still confident that he would be able to get away. Objective is there, and what he did there was very smart. Yitze on the top side, he's a bit too late for this objective.
Yeah, and Sin also going in for the zone. They have sights on long.
Yeah, they still have it on their side, even putting the Rift Scuttler in their favor, just for them to get the extra vision and even the extra mobility to their side, and that's where they're gonna pull them back. Goes in, goes for the 2 knockup, backside though, look at Z doing the damage and the needlework to end their lives. Remake is gonna be next, but Neon is in front. A Sanguine Pool is gonna be buying them some time, but it's not gonna work. Right now onto the back line, we still have somebody. Shin right here was able to get the knockup and was able to push them back. Remake is not gonna get any kills right there, but that blade, that boomerang could have been the end of them, and this knockback's Remake. They still want to end their lives though. Z's gonna go in, he still has a miss, and it's still not gonna work for Remake because that's gonna be an ace for Thundertalk.
An ace secured by Thundertalk. They get a lot of kills and the objective is open. An Ocean Drake and a turret into the bottom lane. But did you see how Chenzi played that fight? It was so good. He was able to go in for the 3-man knockup up against their opponent. If you're looking back at the replay, like look at their positions here. They went in for the call of the Forge God first. That set up the plays for Chansey. And look at the triple man knockup that he did. That opened up the position where in Soil and X-Buy was just free hitting onto the backside. And Sin was zoning away Yeats as well. It was just so clean. It was so good by Thundertalk.
The knockups from Chenzi during this whole fight was massive. Honestly,
Right?
whenever he does that, that's the reason why they were able to win. And I am really surprised that this is not working in their favor. But from what we've seen here, this was just a massacre for Thundertalk. And that's why they were able to work their magic all throughout that whole battle. And the presence of mind that this squad have, whenever they call for the kills, they're not gonna hack on the objective. They just went in for the kill. And Sus is gonna be used. I think Z might be able to get the kill here.
Wow.
And the needlework might be used. Was able to flash away, and Neon survives.
Oh, if that Scissors had an extra length, Yitze.
Yeah, that's gonna be another kill onto this side. And this is just another advantage given to Thunder Talk.
There's no breathing room for Nova. Every single time that Nova wants to go in for farming, wants to just play it a little bit more patiently, Thunder Talk just pounces on them, and now the Baron is open.
Yeah, they have objectives on their name. Yami's gonna be their first target. They don't care if that's a tank. They're gonna be killing anybody in their sights. That's gonna be the first one. Neon's gonna be next. They have the hunt on their side, but they're not gonna follow through. They still want to take that Baron.
Yeah, loss still available into the side of Nova, so that is an opening. But from what we're seeing, Chenzi could deny it, could zone away Long. They can turn around.
Long has the onslaught of the shadow, still 3k HP, a bit too early, and that's gonna be it. Baron's gonna be taken, and Nova has nowhere to go. This game is done. It's an 11k gold advantage with the Baron on their name. Yutzer, he just was revived just a while ago, and he's dead again.
Let me run, let me live. But that's not gonna happen. Thunder Talk time and time again. And right now, history will repeat itself. Game number 1, this happened in game 2.
Oh, man.
They now have the Baron once again.
Yeah, Baron has been taken. They still have one member alive here. They still have the Nexus shields once this last tower is gonna be taken down. And man, oh man, this game is basically done. They just need to back away first. That miss is just so... That miss is just crazy whenever you see it, though. That's why Z was just able to run away unscathed.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Z, right? The thing about Z is how his champion pool works is just too massive. Like, we see Z sometimes going for the Zoe. We see the Gwen come through. There's just so much champions that he can play coming into the mid lane that he performs out of his mind. And just look at his performance coming to Gwen. 4-0-5 on a Gwen matchup against the Vladimir in the mid lane. Long.
Yeah, and now Long is going to be the first target. They're going to go for the tank Chenzi, but on the back line, though, we have Z. He's fighting against 2. He's fighting the damage. Z is still high HP, and he's fighting against 4 people, and he survives. He was so fed, and that's why he was able to survive that long. Gets the knock up onto the back, and that's going to be the end. That's going to be the win. Thunder Talk has the Baron. This game is done. Long knows the assignment. That's why he knows that he could just stay there, because this game is done. It's a 2-0 for Thunder Talk.
It's done for. 2 waves are pushing in. There's the top side. There is the mid lane. And then you have the Baron buff on top of it all. It was just too scary. It was done. It was concluded. And once again, history repeats itself. Game 1, Game 2, a reflection of